Hey guys, welcome to next episode of Talking Decon. I've got Fiona here, our franchise ramp-up coach, and Steve Wolf to my right here is our franchise business consultant, and we're going to be talking about some cool cases today. What you got, Fiona?
All right, so I'm going to be talking about Richard Chase.
Richard Chase. That's one I haven't heard of.
He was a serial killer that was nicknamed Vampire Killer from Sacramento, California.
Oh, okay.
So he actually killed and mutilated the bodies of 6 victims in just 1 month. Like, he just went on 1 month.
How did he mutilate them? Like, bite them? Is that why he's a vampire killer?
So, drinking his victim's blood obviously gives him the name the Vampire Killer, but that actually wasn't the worst of it at all.
Okay.
So, in his childhood, he showed signs of mental illness at a young age. He grew up with his father, who was strict and physically abusive. Mom wasn't in the picture much. He was disturbed and unhappy as a child. So his symptoms grew worse as he grew up. He started setting several small fires, frequently wetting the bed.
Oh, here we go.
Displayed signs of cruelty towards animals.
There we go.
Oh,
this
man.
is classic.
Pretty much like your textbook cookie cutter
Serial killer.
To
the T.
Yes.
Hitting the checklist.
Here's the real question. Does he have a receding hairline?
You know, he actually did.
Ding, ding, ding.
Have like a
I'm
decent...
telling you, I'm on to something
Yeah.
here.
I looked for the photo specifically to check the forehead.
Awesome.
There you go.
So he got kicked out of home and then he turned to alcohol and drugs. So when he turned to alcohol and drugs, his delusions became so much worse, obviously.
Delusions as in schizophrenia?
Like, he was very paranoid. He thought, he was actually fully convinced that his heart would stop beating. Like at one point, like, he actually thought he was a walking corpse. Like, his like paranoia was like through the roof. So he feared that he was lacking vitamin C. Right? So he would get orange peels.
Okay.
Screwdrivers only?
Yeah.
Like, rub it against his skin, thinking that it would get absorbed into his system.
Or you could just drink some orange juice.
Yeah.
Call me
So
crazy. Wouldn't that be easier?
A lot easier.
Yeah.
He was convinced that his brain would directly absorb the nutrients in that method. He actually, one of his most strangest delusions was he felt that his cranial bones were shifting and splitting. So he shaved his head so he could monitor like
would
his
he
scalp.
like rub his head and be like,
Yeah,
I can feel
like
it moving?
Yeah, he thought it was changing places and jumbling around like a puzzle.
I mean, this is classic schizophrenia.
Right.
Was this in his adulthood?
This was in his early 20s.
Okay. So he's an adult now living on his own. So there was really nobody to say, hey, you might need to see somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was he homeless or did he have his own? Okay.
He had his own place.
Did he have a job?
He was in and out of jobs. Like, just little jobs here and there, but not really doing much of anything. At the age of 25, he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
Shocking.
Obviously.
Right.
He got institutionalized in 1975 because they said that he was a danger to himself. What got him to that point was he injected himself with rabbit's blood, which made him super sick. But he thought injecting himself with rabbit's blood was going to help him get healthier.
Vampire killer, half chupacabra.
Right? Like, it's just weird. So while he was institutionalized, he became known as Dracula amongst like the staff because he would kill birds that were on premises. Like, he would catch them, break their neck, and then suck their blood, like drink their blood.
How did he catch them?
He would just like creep up on them and just like pounce on them.
Dude, this guy's scary, man.
Right? And that's at 25. So he wasn't getting better, but according to the staff, he was getting better. So they let him go.
Oh, snap. This is where things all turn to shit.
They released him to his mom, which he stayed there for literally just like 1 or 2 months, and then he moved out because he said his mom was poisoning him.
So when did he reignite with his mom? Because he was living with his dad.
The dad wasn't in the picture at all, so he had to be released to a family member.
Gotcha.
So all he had was his mom, so they like
So
hunted
he
her
was the only
down.
child too?
Yeah.
Mm.
So once he moved out of his mom's, he moved in and he had like 3 or 4 roommates. Like he said that they were friends, but like they weren't really friends. They were literally just roommates.
Can you imagine answering that ad on Craigslist? Looking for a roommate?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this seems like a stellar place.
No, so he would walk around naked all the time.
Oh, snap.
Right? So like the roommates would be like, Richard, like seriously, like stop doing this, right? Like you can't be doing this. But he wouldn't stop. So they ended up moving out, leaving him by himself. So
I mean, that's the reason I would leave an apartment. Like, listen, we're not dating. You need to stop walking around naked. Like, get out.
That's one way to get a place to yourself.
yeah,
Just start
it's
walking
actually
around
quite
naked.
smart. Like
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of smart.
yeah, now I've got a whole place to
Now I got a whole
myself.
place, yeah.
But what about that? You talking about Craigslist ads? Maybe that's his next one. He's like, must be comfortable with me walking around naked, and they call me the vampire because I like to drink blood.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think anyone's
naked
going to respond to
Dracula.
that. Yeah.
Naked Dracula.
Yeah. So once he was by himself, his fascination with blood like came back and like got so much worse. So he started capturing and killing small animals like rabbits, squirrels, any type
Cats.
of like
Neighborhoods,
any
dog.
yeah.
Mm.
So he would eat like the organs raw. Like he would kill them, cut it open, eat the organs
good God.
organs raw. To the point where sometimes he would put the organs in a blender and mix it with Coca-Cola and then drink it.
Oh, my God.
So
Can you imagine the smell? Repulsive.
I wonder if they're gonna add that to the next Coca-Cola commercial. Like,
probably why the
keep
can's red.
everything.
So he actually believed that ingesting it this way was preventing his heart from shrinking
Okay.
because it makes sense.
I think there's a lot of cultures that do that though, that want to eat raw organs of animals or things because they want to take the attributes of that animal into themselves. So I mean that is not uncommon throughout history, but
Probably mixing it with Coca-Cola.
cola,
might be-
yeah, that's a little
That's modernizing it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
a little seasoning to
yeah, it's a chaser. So in August of 77, the police found him late one night in the Lake Tahoe area, covered in blood, carrying a bucket of blood and organs. They determined that the blood and the organ belonged to a cow, so they let him go.
Oh, good God.
Which, if they had just kept him, they probably would have, saved people. So, on December 29th in 77, he was 27 years old. He killed his first victim. He literally just did a drive-by shooting. Random guy, 51-year-old engineer, just shot him twice for absolutely no reason, didn't do anything. So that was on December 29th. On January 23rd, he entered the home of a lady called Teresa who was 3 months pregnant. Her door was unlocked, so he took an unlocked door as a welcoming into the home. Prior to that, he was trying to get into houses. If they were locked, he said he wasn't welcomed. So this became one of his traits that he would do to find victims.
PSA, people, lock your doors.
Locked door. So he went into a house, shot her 3 times. And once she was passed, he had sexual intercourse with her corpse.
Oh, good God.
As he was having sex with her, he actually was stabbing her with a butcher's knife, at the same time. So,
in her stomach?
Yeah, all over her body, just completely just stabbing her
at the same time. That's
while
crazy.
he's having sex with her. Once he was done, he removed multiple organs, cut off one of her nipples, only one, and drank her blood using a used yogurt cup.
Oh, good God.
After he did that, he got dog feces from outside in the garden and stuffed it down the throat of her.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's
This is horrible.
yeah. Yeah, it's
So-
when you think it's bad, it just keeps getting worse.
It's like he got a taste for it.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming the next one probably progressed from that one.
So the next one was on January 27th, just 4 days later. He, this lady called Evelyn, her door was unlocked, so he walked inside. Inside was her 6-year-old and her 22-month-old nephew and a friend named Dan. Dan was murdered in the hallway. He shot him in the head twice.
So was this one of those things that was open again and he just walked in? Okay.
Yep. He randomly took the friend Dan took the car keys. He took it out of his pocket after he shot him. Evelyn and Jason were found in Evelyn's bedroom, which was the 2 kids. The little boy had been shot twice in the head.
Oh, man.
So Evelyn had been partially cannibalized. So he cut his stomach open, took multiple organs out.
So when he's doing this, after they catch him, did they talk about what was his driving factor other than schizophrenia?
He just thought he needed the organs. He had no rhyme or reason for why he did it. He just said if the door was unlocked, then it was for me to go in. I just needed the blood and the nutrients from the organs for my own health benefits.
So the girl that he cannibalized, was that an adult or a child?
An adult that he
Okay.
cannibalized.
Did he also have sex with her after she was dead?
Yeah. And he tried to remove one of her eyes, but couldn't do it. Which I'm not sure how, because I feel like your eye is probably the easiest. Because I feel like you could just
Oh, Jesus.
The spoon was a little too big, couldn't get in the eye socket.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But he completely sodomized her corpse. While he was in there doing all of that, someone had knocked on the door. So he grabbed the baby
That was already dead.
that was already dead for no reason at all. Just grabbed the baby because he was startled, wasn't finished. Grabbed the baby and left in the car that he stole the car keys for. Right? So
Out the back door? So the guy...
yeah.
Okay.
So that's actually how he got caught. So the friend that knocked on the door called the cops, right? It was someone was actually in his...
Because he heard something?
So he knocked on the door and went in.
Oh.
And saw it all.
Oh.
So...
Wow. Can you imagine seeing that?
Yeah, so he called the police. Police came, actually found the decapitated corpse of the baby down the street in a box.
Oh, so
So you just
after
tossed it at it.
he took the baby and
Yeah.
then decapitated
Yeah.
it. Jesus.
Yeah.
This guy is some kind of freaking sicko,
That is
man.
crazy.
It's disgusting. So when the police came, he actually left perfect handprints and footprints in the apartment.
So he's a genius, is what you're saying.
So that actually led to his arrest. So when the police came, all the utensils that he would use to cut him and kill him were in his apartment. They said that his fridge was filled with human organs.
That's
Now
crazy.
that gives a new meaning to fridge time with Fiona.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Yes. You opening the fridge and going, wait a minute, this isn't chicken wings.
Yeah, if I was to open a fridge and be like, oh, what's this in a jar? And it's
Would
a
you
brain.
shit your pants?
I probably would. To be honest, I think I would myself right there and be like,
Whoa.
Evan, cut.
Yeah.
cut.
Oh my.
Yeah. So yeah, when they came in, they found all the organs in the fridge, and they said that there was actually blood, all over the ceiling, all over the walls, all over the floor, which they were thinking is from, they're not sure if he had killed people in his house, or if it's just from him mixing up concoctions of smoothies.
Blending brains and Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Maybe the lid came off the blender.
So
That's a hell of a Vitamix.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the one time you needed to put your hand
Yeah.
on the
Coke floats.
on the. Oh,
Yeah, that's a float. A
Yeah.
Coke float. Can you imagine?
right over the brain. So he was arrested. The trial took 5 months.
5 months.
5 months. The defense attorneys rejected the death penalty because they tried saying that he was not guilty because of insanity.
Well, we all saw that coming.
Yeah. But after 5 hours of deliberation, the jury actually took the side of the prosecution, and he was found guilty of 6 counts of murder and sentenced to death by the gas chamber.
Nice.
When he went to jail, his fellow inmates were aware of his crime and actually were quite scared of him. So they actually encouraged him to kill himself. So he started pocketing his anti-anxiety meds. And he actually overdosed. On that, they found him dead of an overdose. So he was found dead on Christmas Day in 1980.
Well, that's a good gift to the victim's family.
So at the age of 30 was when he passed.
So
Sheesh.
how long was he in before he OD'd?
A year.
Oh, just a year.
Yeah.
So those inmates did us all a favor, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's back when California had the gas chamber. They don't
Yeah.
have it
I don't think
anymore,
they do it now.
No. I
But
think it's all lethal
Could
injection.
you that just speaks volumes. You're in an institution with murderers and killers, and they're all afraid of you, and they are trying to tell you, please take care of
Please,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kill yourself so we don't have to be afraid of you no more.
It's just
Yeah.
the fact that someone could be that sick at a young age.
Well,
right? Like if
doesn't it manifest at a young age, though,
Yeah.
schizophrenia? I
Yeah.
heard it kind of manifests itself in early teenage years, but he was much younger than that.
Yeah.
So was maybe the abuse triggered it? Because I think studies have shown that, you're kind of born with schizophrenia, right? It's not something that just manifests one day.
No, it's just about it coming to the surface.
Right. So, but if you're medicated, you could probably live a normal, productive life.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he was placed in this mental hospital and then released, but probably no follow-up medication, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
gone unattended, and this guy is just out there murdering people.
That actually speaks to you saying that they said he was getting better because he was medicated, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
once the medication stopped, because he probably was like, I don't want to
Right.
put these foreign chemicals into my body.
Right.
Let me go find animal parts.
It's
and
like,
stuff.
oh, he hasn't killed a bird in like a month. Like he's good to go home.
But isn't that the problem, though? Because they're fine when they're medicated, but once you release an adult, there's no one sitting there saying, take your meds, take your meds.
And the thing is with medication, like it's just a Band-Aid.
It
Right? Like
is.
you still have to deal with the actual root issue.
Right.
If you just keep covering it with a Band-Aid, that problem's always going to be there.
I'd be fearful of chemical conditioning where if they take too many pills, that then they start to have where it doesn't affect them as much anymore, and then it starts to go back. And then what do? You increase the medication on them, and then does
Didn't
it
they
get
used to electrocute him, though, back in the day?
electric shock therapy? I was thinking about that.
But that wasn't that deemed like just cruel, and it never worked.
Yeah.
No?
So
Because they used to drill holes too, like in
Oh.
the right through your forehead, thinking it would like help release it, and like that never helped
It's
either.
because of the brain pressure. Let's drill a hole. So
oh my
yeah,
God.
like it's
I mean, I know that like when you hammer your finger, they drill a hole because that's what the pressure. So they're doing the same thing with the brain. That's crazy.
it's just crazy.
But most of the stuff that we talk about when it comes to like serial killers is they're preying on a particular group of people, like, homeless or indigent type people. This was 100% random.
yeah,
And there is nothing those people could have done differently to save their own lives.
yeah, like
Nothing at all.
the first one is the only one that he actually didn't like drink their blood or eat their organs.
The drive-by shooting.
Yeah, that was the only one.
So did he admit to this stuff? Like, was there a
Yes,
confession?
he admitted to those 6. He admitted to him.
But nothing else, though.
Nothing else.
Is he linked to like any unmatched cases or anything that?
No,
No.
I couldn't
Gotcha.
see anything on that.
That's really...
It's just to be that, oh, let me like already know to blend it and mix it with Coke. I feel like, yeah, he's been doing it to animals, but I feel like humans are different than animals, right? Like,
Yeah.
there had to have been something along the line.
Well, it's
that
almost like a
wasn't
progression,
caught.
isn't it? Like, I'm going to try this out with animals, and then you can tell he's like, I want to see how it feels to kill a human, so I'm just going to do a drive-by, and then, wow, it's invigorating. I'm going to do it
Yeah.
again and again. And then it's almost like he became more confident
Yeah.
in his abilities to do it. But the cannibalism and the torture of these, a pregnant woman and stuff, that is just taking it, wow, to
It's like-
serious
That is-
levels.
Drinking the blood was the least of it. You know, like it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It starts out being, kind of a sick kid
yeah,
to turn into an absolute monster.
yeah.
Wow.
Definitely be the crime of opportunity, checking on those locked doors. And I mean, could you just imagine like the afterthought of, my loved one could have saved their life if they would have just double checked the door or something like that. And it's crazy. I will make sure that all my doors are locked. I'm not
Yeah.
believing my wife anymore. I'm going to go do it myself.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that something so innocent as a door being unlocked can cost you your life.
But you're also
Right,
you're
but-
also getting this from a mentally unstable person that's rationalizing, oh, this is what this means. An open door means I'm welcome in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel that way. If
Like,
I'm knocking on someone's door, even if it's open, I'm like, hey, they're not answering. I'm out.
Like, he admitted that there was actually numerous times he tried to get into people's homes and it was locked. So he was like, I'm not
Right.
welcomed here. Like, let me go to the next.
Geez, so that's almost like Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're just literally picking a neighborhood. And
It's like people that
trying,
just pop door handles.
Right.
Like,
just
Yep.
pop door handles. Right. It's
Yeah.
a crime of opportunity, but what a nightmare. And from like a cleanup perspective, I don't think it gets much worse than this.
no.
I mean, can you imagine the killing, the mutilation, the stabbing, the blood, all of this? I mean, that is a huge crime scene.
Yeah.
One of the questions I did have was for the pregnant lady. How far along was it? Was she visible yet?
3 months.
Okay.
So little.
Tiny
Yeah.
bump.
Yeah.
Tiny bump. So I mean,
Was he aware
No. Said that he wasn't aware.
that she was pregnant?
Yeah.
So
Which is probably a good thing because he probably would have ate the child.
Well, I thought where
Like-
you were going when you started telling the story, I thought he was going to cut it out
Yeah.
Yeah.
and kind of be like, hey, this is cool. Let me put it in
Yeah.
a jar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that case, is he responsible for both
Yeah.
deaths?
Yeah.
Okay, so
He'd be charged
it's
with
two
both.
individual. Okay.
Absolutely.
Whether he
That's-
knew or not, it's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just didn't know if there was a definitive point where the baby has to be so far along before they say you took both lives.
I think there is, but I believe it's a fetal heartbeat.
Okay.
So, you know, they've been pretty successful at prosecuting killers of pregnant women
Mhm.
and charging them with double murder. That's been pretty successful in most states.
Gotcha.
It's just a crazy, heinous crime. You have anything to add to it?
No, that's it.
Wow. Make sure we show a picture of that receding hairline, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks again, guys, for watching today's episode of Talking Decon. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell and follow us on social media with TikTok at Crime Scene Cleaning, Instagram at Crime Scene Cleaning. Have a great day.